Hi everyone. I just posted a review from a relatively new house in Birmingham, England called Abdul Karim al Faransi. I posted a review of a fragrance that is a beautiful leather called Mukalat al Farisi. Right now I want to bring a review of a completely different scent from the same house. And this is the bottle. This is that bigger bottle that I was talking about. By the way, if you want some background information on the house, I think I've already told you where they're from, but how long they've been around, what they're all about, what they're trying to do, what he specializes in, go watch the beginning of the last video. That's where I give all that information in. That's why it was 15 minutes long. Sorry. But I did want to give all that information in the initial video because I think it's important. Why people do what they do, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to make. That's all important to me as a reviewer and as someone who loves to smell perfume. I want to get people's stories. So, what's this all about? This is called Jakarta, as in the physical location, Jakarta. That might be too dark to see, but there you go. Anthony's website describes this, Anthony being the purveyor and owner, describes this as a powerfully woody mukalat full of green notes with a floral touch. Raw and rather masculine, it offers an authentic sensorial journey. So, top notes: fresh vetiver, wild rose. Heart notes: deep vetiver from Jakarta, leather, and sandalwood, with base notes of woody sweet amber. Before I go into the scent, I just can't resist showing you again the quality of the oil that we're talking about here. It's like no other oil I've really ever seen. I know oil is supposed to be thick and viscous, but this is interesting stuff. I mean, this is... Hopefully you can... It's not as apparent in a bigger bottle because there's, just sort of the nature of fluid dynamics makes it look not as impressive in a bigger bottle. But it is very, very thick stuff. So, Anthony's description above that I read to you, I think is a really serviceable one, except that being a rose scent, I think it's probably more unisex rather than just being made for men. In fact, a man is going to really have to love rose to wear this, because in his description he says it has, let me get his exact words, a floral touch. Well, I think there's more than a floral touch here. This is a rose perfume. Of course, it's not quite what you would call a soliflor, but it is very rose forward. It's got sandalwood and saffron, and I read you some of the other notes, but pretty much the central note that you get here is rose. So, thankfully, I am someone who loves rose. I smear this stuff on generously when I've worn it. Oh, by the way, I've had it for about 6 weeks, and you can tell how much I've used. Almost none. But I've worn it probably 15 or 20 times. Okay? That is a testament to how much you need, which is not much, and how much you have to use, which again is not much. It comes... Oh, I didn't think I showed you this in the last video. It's not a sprayer. It's a dauber, which of course it should be, because one spray of this would be entirely too much. But here you go. Sort of see and you just get a good amount on there, and you can just sort of slather it all over your skin and up your arm. I don't think a lot of men in the East, in Europe, the States, Canada, are going to be used to such a rose-forward scent, which is really a shame because I think it's beautiful. I think women will love it. I think men comfortable with wearing florals and especially roses will love it. But it's going to be a bit of a stretch for your average guy who's just walking into a perfumery and, doesn't really know what he wants. This is going to be a tough sell, I think. But it's beautiful nonetheless. This, as far as smell goes, is a woody, slightly green, mostly woody, sandalwood to be precise, rose. Sandalwood rose loaded with the earthy spiciness of saffron. The rose, like I said, is very much up front, very much towards the center. It's not far from being a solo floor, but it is a little more sophisticated than that. It's got a few other things going on. From the top to the base, I really only detect rose, sandalwood, and saffron. I don't detect vetiver or amber at all. In most Western-style alcohol-based EDTs and EDPs that claim to use saffron, I can barely even smell it. They just I think they make it up half the time, to be honest. But here in Jakarta, it's absolutely present. I can actually smell it, and that's really, really pleasant because it's a beautiful smell. Sort of like sticking your nose in a homemade paella before you put all the seafood in and everything. The rose and the sandalwood are beautiful complements to the saffron. The rose in the heart and the saffron, or I should say the sandalwood in the base. There's nothing big and jam-like about this rose either, which I suppose I mean to say by saying that it's not sweet, it's not sweetened, it's not gourmandish at all, which I really appreciate. I don't really like fragrances that are that sweet. It's just mesmerizingly beautiful, sort of like Mugulat al-Farisi. Considering the quality, the longevity, the sillage, the price, for me is very fair. I told you the price of Mugulat al-Farisi, so I'm going to tell you the price of Jakarta as well. The 6-gram bottle that I have right here is 27 pounds, or right at $40 US. And like I said, don't let the size fool you. 6 grams of this stuff could easily last you anywhere between several months and several years, depending on how often you wear it. And I would start with just sort of applying a drop up or down your arms and sort of lightly just daubing your forearms together, and then either increasing or decreasing application volume as you see fit. Also, as I mentioned in the last video, the wonderful thing about the whole line, the whole house, is that there are oils for every price point you could want. So if the oud line is out of your price range, you can try something from the affordable Denal oud line, which is much less expensive. To date, I've only tried Jakarta and Mugulat al-Farisi, but I'm incredibly excited to try more. I can't wait to he has a whole line devoted to ambers and a whole line devoted to ouds, which I'm just so excited to try. I'm so glad I found this house. I found him on Facebook. He posts there quite often, and I don't think I've ever really had a chance to discover Arabic style or Oriental style perfumery. And I'm so glad I got a chance because it's really, really beautiful stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Abdul Karim al-Faransi's Jakarta, and you enjoyed me introducing you to the house. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm going to leave the link, as I did in the last video, in the drop-down box. Feel free to contact him, visit him, check out his website, message him on Facebook. He's very generous with his time. We'll answer any of your questions. But on to the next review. I'll see you later. Bye.